Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Smarty Lender Update webinar. We really appreciate you taking the time to join us, and we promise a quick session with some important updates that will be useful to everyone. My name is Rudy Stirk, the Associate Director of Marketing and Communications at the Green Bank, and I'm joined today by my colleagues Ralph Massey, the Northeast Regional Manager of the Smarty program, and Claire Getman, an associate with the program who you probably speak to quite frequently through the Engine platform. So today's agenda, we're going to go through some Green Bank updates quickly, building upon some of the things that we talked to you all about in the spring when we visited your offices. We will have a Smarty program update from Ralph, some engine tips, some best practices, a brief marketing update, and then some time at the end for your input, and we're going to ask you to help us by filling out a survey that will help us define some of what Smarty becomes hopefully going forward into the future. So without any further delay, I'm just going to go right into some of those Green Bank updates that I mentioned. So
everyone was able to hear.
Sure. Again, sorry about that, everyone. Building on what we talked to all of you about in the spring, the Green Bank is launching some new Smarty measures in the home resiliency space based on the environmental infrastructure expansion that the Green Bank went through a couple of years ago. We've been doing lots of planning and research and learning about the new measures that we're going to roll out, and we hope that it will help homeowners really take new advantage of the home resiliency efforts. Ralph is going to talk a little bit more about those in a couple of slides, but we are rolling those out shortly. The Energy Storage Solutions Program, which is the battery incentive program for both homeowners and commercial businesses. Interesting thing to note for all of you is that the upfront incentive for homeowners has significantly increased from $7,500 to $16,000. We hope that this increase in the upfront incentive will encourage more battery installations going forward, and hopefully solar plus storage. And with the new maximum loan increase, we hope that a lot of these projects can come through the Smarty program. And finally, on the Inflation Reduction Act, Green Bank has been part of a number of applications that have been submitted to the federal government to access those funds. We don't have any update on that and won't for a few months, but we're hoping that some new federal dollars will be available starting next summer. So we'll keep everyone posted on that as we go forward into next year. So now I'll turn it over to Ralph, and hopefully you can still hear me.
Thanks, Rudy. If you want to go to the next slide here. So this first graph, we just wanted to touch base on, how the portfolio continues to grow. I know some of this information you've seen, but as you can see here, the 2023 bar there, it continually rises, and really across all metrics, both the dollar amount of loan and the overall volume. And in 2024, we are projecting to kind of continue to expand this and see more and more projects closed. Go to the next slide. So why are we experiencing some of this growth? Well, a big piece of that is the solar growth in the solar industry. So moving back when the Smarty program started about 10 years ago, solar was one of the predominant measures that were financed. And as that market matured and different financing options became available to solar contractors, some of that business fell off, and HVAC really kind of took the place of solar. But over the last year or so, particularly as a result of the rising interest rates, a lot of the solar contractors have started to come back, and we expect that trend to continue. Obviously that's going to significantly increase the dollar amount of loans and the projects. And just as an explanation as to why that's happening is when individuals finance through some of the larger solar financing companies, contractors are charged somewhere between originally it was somewhere between like 18 and 25%, but with the rising interest rates, now those projects are going to 30 to 35% of the project amount is being charged to the contractor, which then in turn is passed over to the homeowner. driving up the cost of those solar projects fairly significantly. Smarty, as you know, does not have a fee for contractors to use, and it has a very low interest unsecured rate. So that is bringing a lot of solar contractors back, and it's also helping to drive down the overall cost of the solar projects by 20–30%, which is a significant amount. And obviously, as that industry kind of continues to grow and people compare quotes, it's going to drive more and more people back to the Smarty program, because they want to make sure that they're going to be able to get the lowest possible cost for the solar install. And this also is going to apply to the battery storage and eventually the geothermal product as well. So we believe the Smarty program really is offering a great opportunity for both solar contractors and homeowners looking to go solar. And so we expect this trend to really accelerate over the next year or so. Keep going, thank you. So as Rudy mentioned, we do have some new measures coming in early January, and then of course in the second quarter of 2024, and they're rolled out in 2 phases. A few notes on these. One, all of these measures is going to be installed by a certified or licensed installer, similar to how we handle contractors. They'll all be licensed and vetted and have the appropriate credentials, so nothing will change there. The distributions of these projects in terms of the funding amounts will also remain the same, so no changes there. And they will also fall under the inspection protocol as well. So this is really just an expansion of what we currently do, and obviously we currently have about 40 or so measures, and this is going to bring us up, when it's all said and done, to approximately 60 to 65. So in the first rollout, phase 1, so this is really something that's going to look at an expansion of the measures that already exist, whether that's solar, electrical sub-panels, retrofits, knob and tube, things to do with windows like storm shutters and high impact glass replacements. We offer measures or equipment installations currently revolving around this. It's just going to take it one step further. Phase 2 is really where we start to see a change in terms of really new equipment. So such as residential wells, flood proofing, which includes French drains, impervious surfaces, trees, things of that to help make a property more flood resistant. Impervious surfaces typically will mean replacing a traditional driveway with something with a paver type substance, or something where the water will be able to drain instead of creating just a runoff. It'll also help create opportunities for homeowners to make their homes more extreme weather resistant, whether that means relocating equipment that might be under like a flood area, or moving lines, or creating floor or wall membranes for basements to make sure to prevent additional flooding or wet basements, things of that nature, and also reduce the risk of mold and things that relate to mold. There will be eventually another phase of new and approved measures that are coming later on after these 2 rollouts. We will obviously reach out and make everyone aware of those, but there will be another enhancement down the line, probably in 2025 as well. So as far as enhancements go for the program, as we mentioned when we were back out in everyone's office in the spring, the updated lender report. So we anticipate this actually to go live in the first quarter of 2024. And really what this is going to look like is it's going to be a reduction in fields on the report, meaning fields that are static, that they don't change every month, will be removed from that report. So hopefully it'll make things easier, so you don't have to keep either adding that information. Those fields will still be required information, but that can be added within Engine, so you don't have to add it on the report as well and submit it each and every month. One note that we do want to make sure everyone's aware of is any information that is on a lender report, whether it's a lender report today or after the upgrade, is that lender report will always override the engine and data. So it's imperative that the information that's going to be submitted on your lender report, that it when it is submitted, is correct. Because if it does have incorrect information, it will change the project in engine to having the incorrect information. Now, obviously, this can be changed and addressed after the fact, but obviously it will reduce the unnecessary step of making that adjustment if it's correct in the first place. One additional update within Engine is a new lender dashboard. So what this is going to do is create a new dashboard. When you log in right now, you'll see those pie charts that kind of give you an idea of your loans and kind of their status, but this will take it one step further, including giving you an idea of what your climate impact is with the different loans that you're submitting and funding, along with an update to the loan loss reserve metrics. So right now, twice a year, you're receiving a status on your loan loss reserve accounts. This will get updated, so you'll see it more in real time. And then those semi-annual reports will disappear because you'll have access to it right in Engine. One additional update is we are moving the geothermal project disbursement to something similar along the lines of solar notification. So obviously we've moved solar notifications and disbursements into a one-third distribution process instead of the traditional one-third, two-third, and the reason is timing and how long it's been taking for a solar project to go through with all the approvals from utility companies and so on. Geothermal also has similar challenges in the industry just because of the fact that there's only so many people out there that are able to drill the wells for this technology, and this technology continues to be more and more prevalent. We see more and more of these types of projects. And the IRA bill, which Rudy mentioned a few moments ago, they also have a pretty significant tax incentive, the same as the solar incentive, about 30% for these projects. So we expect these projects to gain in popularity more and more. So what this is going to look like is it's going to be one-third at loan closing, one-third at certificate of completion, the end of the project like normal, and instead of it being two-thirds, it's at the end of the project. That extra one-third is going to be at the middle at a permitting phase, which is either the well drilling or the mechanicals permit. And so you'll have a one-third, one-third, one-third distribution, and your notifications will be similar to the solar notifications in the sense of you'll get those notifications from Engine, and then there'll be a discussion comment to release that middle one-third payment. And of course, if anybody has questions as we start to see that, please reach out to us. And one last note here on emergency HVAC measures. So you may see that currently in your list of loans or projects. Anything that is an emergency is highlighted in yellow, and that will now be pinned to the top of your project dashboard. So when you log in, you'll see those right away, as those are the ones that are the primary one. So just a helpful tool in order to separate and highlight really the ones that need to be done as quickly as possible. And this will happen both in the loan and job tabs within Engine. So the next up is payment recommendations. So the reason we bring this up today is we've noticed with the busyness of Smarty that there are times where contractors are having a challenge making deposits with checks that are sent. Now, we always recommend an ACH payment to the contractors if you have their information and the ability internally to make that payment, but obviously it will drive more business to you, it'll save you time and money, and it'll improve your contractor relationships. But one thing we do want to stress is we would like to start moving away from two-party checks. This is becoming an obstacle for our contractors. More and more banks and credit unions are not accepting those checks anymore. And this is something that we may need to make mandatory in our program as we move forward into 2024 because of the contractors having an issue depositing those checks, both the one-third and two-third distributions, and requiring a bunch of extra steps or adding a middleman to the process. So we ask that anyone that is currently issuing a two-party check to hopefully just take a look internally to see if there's a way for your organization to move away from that. And if you do want to continue to offer a check, making that check payable directly to the contractor. If anybody has any questions on that, please reach out to any of us. And so next, I'm going to turn it over to Claire for a few engine tips.
Thanks, Ralph. Nice to have everybody here today. I'd like to go through just a couple of things that seem to come up in question regarding how to find contractor information, since there's actually quite an easy way to do that within Engine. So if you look on our little screenshot here, it's a brief, just a clip of what it looks like from a lender dashboard in the contractor header. So you see that blue oval circle there. It shows the contractor heading page. So when you click on that in your Engine program, you'll see a list of all authorized Smart e-contractors, including their company number, name, the program, phone number, email, mailing address. So this is all information that the contractor themselves have submitted to us and should be accurate and up to date. Of course, you can always ask them in the discussion tab of the job about mailing address for checks and that kind of thing. But if you want to search for a specific contractor, if you see that left green arrow where you can look at the keyword, if you type in a contractor's company name, even if it's just 3 letters or symbols or numbers, you'll be able to click that search button, and then it should pull up anything with those 3 numbers. Or if you start typing in a name, like that second one, 72 degrees, if you start typing in degrees and click search, that anything with that series of letters will come up in your search. And so that's a really kind of quick, easy way to find out through your Engine portal which contractors are currently authorized to work with the program, since this does change from time to time. One other thing to note is, as you see in the second and third lines of those contractor lists there, 72 degrees AC and heating has an authorized and a terminated status, and then the one below that has an authorized and archived status. Now, just as a note, if you do see that, the terminated or authorized is a secondary, and if the company is not authorized, it will not show up in this list. So you can disregard those terminated, archived. If you do see those, just know that any contractor in this list is actually an authorized, approved, vetted Smart e-contractor. One other thing that you can do is look at our website. We have a Find a Contractor tool which lists and keeps very much up to date with our active and current contractors. And so that's done typically on a weekly basis. You can look there, you can direct your borrowers there as well. If they have any concerns or questions, of course, you can reach out to us, but it's nice to be able to have the tools that you need at your own fingertips without having to reach out for additional information and wait. And then one other thing to note is that as a part of our program, we vet our contractors. And as Ralph mentioned, we inquire before they even get looked at. We need to have their current license and insurance information related to the services they plan to offer. So it's something we very carefully look at, and we make sure that all contractors that apply to be a part of the program must be licensed, properly licensed and insured for what it is that they are looking to offer to their customers to use the financing of Smarty, and then also to maintain compliance. So we evaluate contractor compliance on a regular basis, and we work hard to try and keep those contractors up to date. If we don't have their current license and insurance information, they do get removed from the program, and they're notified of such. But so please be assured that we do continue to vet contractors as a part of this program. And one other thing is that loan records in Engine can sometimes be a little funky. Sometimes they automatically link to a job, but it's the wrong loan, or they don't automatically link to a job. And so how do you solve for that? Well, in some cases, it's just a matter of the address not being exactly the same as the address that was submitted by the contractor. So, for instance, if a contractor submits 85 Hartford Avenue and they type out Avenue, but you write 85 Hartford Ave, AVE, they won't link. It's a funny thing with an Engine, but if you see that a loan is not linking to the correct job, you can see the job in your job tab and you see your loan in the loan tab, but they're not linking. Sometimes it's just a matter of adjusting the address slightly. And then also you can notify our team, the Green Bank team, with the loan app number to let us know that the loan is not linked and which is the correct loan to link. So within that discussion tab, if you see the job and the loan are not linking, just let us know and we'll go ahead and make that correction. Another thing that happens, as I mentioned, is that the incorrect loan or unincorrect loan gets linked to a job. And sometimes this is a previously submitted loan that was denied or withdrawn years ago, but it links to the job automatically because the new loan report hasn't been submitted yet with the correct loan record. So in the event that does happen, which does happen from time to time, it's not really trouble, but we do need to be notified of the correct loan record. So if the new loan record does not exist in Engine, once you do submit your loan report and the new loan does exist in Engine, we can then unlink the incorrect loan and then link the correct loan. But we do need the new correct loan on file in Engine to do that. But all you have to do is just leave us a note in the discussion tab, as with the previous one, to let us know which is the correct loan, and we'll take care of that for you.
Great. Thank you, Claire and Ralph, for that update. Let me know if you can't hear me right now. Hopefully you can.
I can hear you.
Perfect. Thank you. So quick marketing update. And again, building upon our conversations in the spring, I had mentioned at that point that we had just recently relaunched the Green Bank website in January, and we were continuing to build things out. So one of the areas that we've been building out has been the Smarty section. So there are a number of updates there. You can see the links to those on the screen. And when we send out this presentation and the slides, be sure to check those pages out if you haven't already. There is a new updated Find a Lender page. We took some of the recommendations and suggestions that you shared with us back in the spring and have incorporated those. But again, we're always looking to build that out and improve it. So if you see things that could be improved or you have thoughts on additions to it, please reach out, let us know. We do have a Smarty page that's sort of like a hub page now, where if you typed in ctgreenbank.com/smarty, it would take you to one Smarty page that has links to all the other tools. So, if someone, one of your borrowers or potential borrowers is asking about the program, you can just send them directly to that page. It's an easier link for people to find, but it directs to all the other sub pages that talk about the program. We have added a how to get started section on the main Smarty page for homeowners. So it breaks out steps into, I believe it's just 5 fairly simple steps for folks to go through and figure out how to get through the process. But for those sort of more specific questions, there is now an FAQ page linked on that page as well. That goes a little bit more into depth about the process and answers a lot of the questions that Claire and Ralph get frequently, and questions that you all probably get often as well. Claire did just mention the Find a Contractor tool on the site. I will say that a revised tool is coming out very soon in January, which we think will be a significant improvement over the one that's currently there. It'll allow you to type in, similar to how Engine allows you to type in the contractor's name and have their record pop up. This tool will have that. It'll also be searchable by type of project and area, some of the similar things that the current tool has, but just an improved user experience for everyone who lands on that page. So with all of these new website updates, the key thing that I want to stress upon all of you is please use these tools. Please update your websites with those links, add those links to your sites. So, you know, there's a little bit more content available for your borrowers and members to see and to really dig into what the program is all about. We think that'll will help you in explaining how the program works and what is offered and what is available. And beyond that, you know, remember that we are here to support your outreach to your members. We can help you design emails or graphics. We have that capability in-house, and we also work with an external graphic designer. We can help with content and campaigns. We think this might especially be helpful going into the spring as some of the new measures that Ralph talked about become available. You know, we would love to partner more closely on putting out communications and messages to your members, especially as the program changes, grows, and evolves over the next, you know, 6 to 12 months and beyond. And please keep that channel of communication open to us. We're always happy to try to help in whatever way we can. And this is the part where I ask you all for your input and your help. I mentioned at the beginning that we have a very short survey. It's like 10 questions. It won't take more than a few minutes. But it's very important for us because we are currently in the process of evaluating ways that there may be technological solutions, improvements, other ways that could help streamline the program to reduce some of the challenges that you are facing as a lender in the program, but also that homeowners and contractors are mentioning to us might help either efficiency or just improve the whole process overall. So the link is right here, but we will be sending out a follow-up email with this link. Again, I encourage all of you to please submit at least one for your institution so we can take that information back and help with some of the internal conversations that we're having and conversations with our partners to figure out, you know, what we can do to, you know, really improve and make the program even better than it currently is. So with all of that said, I know we threw a bunch of things at you for the last little bit here. We'd love to open it up for questions. If there are any questions that folks would like to ask, feel free to put them into the question bar on the GoToMeeting panel, or you can raise your hand and we can unmute you and you can ask them directly, whatever is easier or more convenient for you. And we'll take a few minutes here to open it up for that.
Rudy, while people may have some questions, I was wondering if you could maybe just touch on what you think the IRA bill might do in terms of SMRTY and how that might affect a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good question, Ralph. So there are a few areas that the Green Bank's applications focused on. And one of those areas really is focused on homes and creating more energy efficient, more resilient and healthy homes. So, you know, we think that there could be a good chunk of funding coming to put specifically into residential single family, you know, and for us, that means finding ways to help really boost the SMRTY program. And I think as we get closer into next year and as we find out what money becomes available, we may be coming back to this lender group and saying, here are some things that we're thinking about, because it's going to be a significant amount of money if it comes through. and it could be things like IRBs, it could be um, new ways to program, in addition to new measures, but other additions and enhancements to the program. So I think there's a lot of opportunity if that money comes through in some of the ways that we're hopeful that it will. Sort of a vague answer, Ralph, but
No, that's great, and I appreciate it.
given where all the applications are, it's hard to be too specific. But residential home is a significant area of focus, and also low and moderate income. And I think that's been an area of the Smarty program that we've talked about often over the years. We're trying to find ways to help reach that low and moderate income homeowner bracket. There'll be a lot of focus there.
Great, thanks, Rudy.
So the other thing that I'll say while we're opening the mic for questions is that we intend to continue to have these kind of sessions. We're also willing and able to do the like roadshow thing that we did last spring. Again, if folks found that helpful, coming directly to your offices and meeting in person, we think that was a incredibly helpful tour for us. And we would certainly be willing and open to doing that again next year. We'd also be willing and open to having you come to our office here in Hartford so you could check out our space. So I think as we move into the spring, Ralph and Claire will probably give some more thought into that. So if there's input on that from any of the lenders on the call, we'd be happy to have that too. All right, so seeing no questions coming into the chat and no hands raised, I think that we are good to wrap up, actually. Again, we appreciate all of you joining today, and we'll give you 20 minutes back of your mornings so you can do your actual jobs, but we appreciate your time, and thank you as always for being great partners on this program. And we'll be in touch with all of you soon as some of these enhancements and new measures and things roll out. Thank you all.